Coming up tonight on SLU News 22.
Hostage rescue operation failure.
A plane crash in Maryland.
SLU's new housing plan.
Puppies and Pius.
Plus national news and weather. Live from the Busch Student Center, this is SLU News 22.
Good evening, I'm Abby Parra.
And I'm Bobby Stilwell.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Two former Al-Qaeda hostages, American journalists Luke Summers and South African educator Pierre Corky, were the subject of a rescue attempt this past Friday that culminated in their deaths. Following a video from American captive Luke Summers earlier in the week, U.S. officials executed a plan to extract Summers and Corky from Al-Qaeda captivity in Yemen. During the raid by Navy SEAL Team 6, the same team involved in the killing of Osama bin Laden in 2011, Al-Qaeda members killed Summers and Corky. While the U.S. was planning to rescue Summers, the Gift of the Givers organization was gathering money to pay the $200,000 ransom to secure the release of South African educator Corky. Prior to the raid, members of Corky's family had met with Al-Qaeda members to discuss the terms of his release. The U.S. government was unaware of the Gift of the Givers donation that secured Corky's release.
This morning, 6 civilians were killed in an air crash in Gaithersburg, Maryland at 11 a.m. when a small passenger aircraft crashed into a house in the residential area near Washington, D.C. The plane had 3 occupants who all perished in the crash, while 3 occupants in the house also perished. 2 more houses in the vicinity were severely damaged by the plane. At press time, there was no information on the cause of the crash.
Chief Meteorologist Annie Eveker is in the Weather Center with our first forecast. Annie, what have you got for us this week?
Well, it's going to be in the 40s all week this week, but looking outside right now, you can see that it's 40 and it's 48, and we've been in high 40s all day. We actually hit 50 today, which is really nice for us. Coming up tonight, we have low 30s, so if you're headed to the library, you want to bring a jacket, but you'll be fine for the rest of the day. The weather story for later on is it's slightly above average for the rest of the week, but it's going to be chilly, and then it's going to warm up, and we're going to have a really great weekend this weekend. So that's what you're looking at for the rest of the week.
Thank you, Annie. Discovery premiered a new show entitled Eaten Alive to much fanfare over the weekend, but many criticized the show after it had aired. Herpetologist Paul Rosalie wanted to be eaten by a green anaconda, the largest and most powerful snake in the world. After an hour of being constricted by this snake, the experiment was called off. Discovery claims that Rosalie wanted to be eaten alive, but safety was a priority for the snake and Rosalie. Rosalie's next goal is to find the biggest anaconda.
Following through with an agreement from a 1992 summit in Helsinki, Finland, the U.S. and Russia have agreed to let a Russian military airship fly an observation mission over the U.S. The mission will promote decreasing hostilities that flared during the Russian occupation of Crimea in February of this year. The mission, which will take place between December 8th and December 13th, will be overseen by U.S. military specialists aboard the aircraft. The decision came after accusations of U.S. military intelligence performing reconnaissance missions over Russia last month.
Coming up next, your SLU area news. Stay with us. Welcome back. On Saturday, the St. Louis University Board of Trustees approved construction of a $43.8 million new residence hall. This is the first in a series of potential projects designed to enhance on-campus housing. The 8-story, 153,000 square foot facility will be located on existing green space at Laclede and Spring Avenues behind Fuse Hall. The residential hall is designed for first and second year students and will feature single and double suite style rooms with a total of 450 beds. Classrooms, a conference room, study rooms, floor lounges, and a chapel, a living room with kitchen, a large meeting space, and a small outdoor amphitheater are included in the plans. Pre-construction work is set to begin later this month, with completion scheduled for 2016 in July. Construction of the buildings will begin at 9 a.m. and end by 6 p.m. each day, including weekends. Pending future Board of Trustees approval, SLU plans to build a second new residence hall on what is today the Georgetown parking lot behind the Grisedeck complex. The Grisedeck complex, which includes Walsh and Clemens halls, would also undergo major renovations as well. If approved, these projects would be completed in 2017 and 2019, respectively.
Effective January 1st, 2015, the Rockhurst and San Francisco parking lots will become resident parking locations. Nothing is required of you to facilitate this change. Students may begin to park on these lots January 1st or upon your return from the holiday break. If you have any questions, please contact Parking and Card Services at 314-977-2957.
A little over 5 weeks ago, all St. Louis University students received a message detailing instructions for completing a required educational module regarding St. Louis University's sexual misconduct policy. The deadline to complete this module is tomorrow, December 9th. If you have not yet completed the module, please log into your MySLU account and complete it.
Tickets are now on sale for Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. It will be at the Fabulous Fox Theater on December 12th through the 14th. The prices for tickets start at $20. Get your tickets now.
The College of Arts and Sciences and Pius the 12th Memorial Library are hosting a visit from Canine Helpers. Allow more possibilities. CHAMPS, a local organization of therapy dogs and their owners. The dogs will be in the second floor gallery of the library from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on December 8th and 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on December 9th. This is the third year of this popular event for many in the SLU community. Coming up next, your workweek forecast. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Meteorologist Annie Eveker is here with us now for your extended forecast. Annie, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what we have this week?
Well, this week it's going to get pretty chilly. The high today was 48, and then it's going to get in the low 30s, and it's going to get into the 60s in the weekend. So we have a really great weekend coming up. But the current conditions outside, as you can see, are 48 degrees. It's going to get lower tonight, and looking into tonight, it's just going to get in the low 30s. But on our storm track, this is why it is cold outside. We have a cold front coming through, and the cold front's coming through, and then it's going to drop down for the rest of the week, but then we're going to have a warm front later, and it's going to bring us up to 60 degrees in later of the week. So later tonight, it's going to be 32 degrees, so if you're headed to the library, like I said earlier, you're going to want a jacket, and it's just bundle up because the library gets pretty cold even inside. So tomorrow, your forecast is partly cloudy, and it's going to be 38, so we will get up into, I don't think we're going to reach the 40s, but really the high 30s is what you're looking at. So you're going to want a jacket again for tomorrow, maybe a heavy coat, but you should be fine. Looking into the 5-day forecast for you, we have, as I said, you're going to get in the 30s and the 40s, and then it's going to bring back up to the 50s, and then Saturday is looking beautiful, and it's going to be 60 degrees. So you want to get outside on Saturday, maybe study outside for a little bit, and it's going to be a beautiful week. So that's what we have this week.
Great. Thank you so much, Annie. I'm looking forward to it. Up next, a look into the world of sports and entertainment. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Saturday, the St. Louis men's basketball team lost to the number 8 ranked Wichita State, 81-52. The Billikens' record fell to 5-3 for the season, while the Wichita Shockers' second season record moved to 5-1. Freshman guard Marcus Bartley led the Billikens with the career-high 13 points, making 5 out of 7 shots, with 4 steals. The Billikens returned to action on Tuesday when they welcomed South Dakota State to the Chaifetz Arena at 7. The game will be televised on Fox Sports Midwest.
The St. Louis Rams scored back-to-back victories for the first time since last year with a win over the Washington Redskins, 24-0 at FedEx Field in Washington. Rams quarterback Sean Hill threw for over 200 yards with 2 touchdowns. Tight end Jared Cook was at the receiving end of both touchdowns, and he had 4 catches for 61 receiving yards. The Rams defense registered back-to-back shutout victories for the first time since 1945, when they were known as the Cleveland Rams. A victory against the Arizona Cardinals at home on Thursday night will put the record of the Rams at a rarely seen 7-7.
St. Louis University Swimming and Diving wrapped up the USA Swimming AT&T Winter Nationals in Greensboro, North Carolina, with solid performances. The SLU men finished 11th among all collegiate teams. St. Louis University freshman Ryan McCoy was one of SLU's top performers, with the second best time in the A10 and the 200-yard freestyle. On the women's side, Morgan Peterson competed well for the Billikens, setting the top time in the A10 this season in the 200-yard IM and 100-yard butterfly. St. Louis University will take a month off from competition before returning to the pool on January 9th and 10th for a pair of meets against William Jewell and Bellarmine at Simon Rec Center.
The St. Louis women's basketball team, led by the team's leading scorers, Sadie Stepanovich and Jackie Kemp, takes their 2-game winning streak and 4-3 record to Columbia, Missouri on Monday when they go up against the Mizzou Tigers, who are 5-2. Tip-off is at the Mizzou Arena at 7. After the Mizzou game, the Billikens will host Indiana State on Sunday, December 14th, in a rematch after Indiana State beat the Billikens 63-60 in the season opener.
According to U.S. health regulators, consumers will suffer up to $5.27 billion in lost pleasure over the next 20 years as calorie counts on restaurant menus discourage consumers from eating high-calorie foods. This analysis was tucked into regulations published last month that required chain restaurants, grocery store chains selling prepared food, large vending machine operators, movie theaters, and amusement parks to display calorie counts. This lost pleasure is based on consumer surplus, which has long been used by economists to fully understand the benefits consumers receive from various goods and services. The application of consumer surplus to these regulations has received much criticism from economists who say that there is no justification to use consumer surplus since the government is not banning a specific product.
In an NFC South showdown between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers, a fight between the players broke out. Shoving ensued after a touchdown by Carolina quarterback Cam Newton, which led to a fight between players of both teams. Newton allegedly taunted Saints defensive end Cameron Jordan right before the fight broke out. Panthers tight end Brandon Williams was ejected, and Saints linebacker Curtis Lofton was flagged. Despite the fight, the Panthers beat the Saints 41-10.
Well, it looks like this week's going to be beautiful. I'm glad it's almost our last week of school, so we're going to get to end it off with a bang.
Right, it is going to be beautiful this weekend. We're going to be in the 40s and then in the 50s, and then finally on Saturday it's going to be in the 60s. So we definitely want to get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather. And that's what it's going to be this week.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
That's our show for the night. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget, you can always get the latest movie reviews and news online at slutv.slu.edu or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We will be back here next semester.